Hello everyone, I welcome you all to this lesson. Today I am going to discuss on the topic Abhisara-The Tryst. This is a beautiful poem, children, which is written by Rabindra Tagore. So let us start with this beautiful poem. And before that, let me ask you, have you subscribed to my channel? If you have not subscribed up till now, then please do. And watch the video till end. And press the like button if you have liked it. And don't forget to press the bell icon for my latest notification and leave a comment below. And I'm sure this lesson will help you in your exam. So children, let us begin with this beautiful poem, Abhisara-The Tryst. First of all, let me tell you something about the poet Rabindra Tagore. He was born in Kolkata in 1861. He was a renowned poet, writer, and philosopher. He was the first non-European to be awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1913 for his collection of poems Gitanjali. Tagore's poetry is known for its spiritual and philosophical themes, reflecting his deep love for nature and his fascination with human emotions. This poem, Abhisara-The Tryst, is his one of the most famous poem, which celebrates the beauty of nature and the power of love. The poem describes a meeting between two lovers in a forest and creates a sense of intimacy between the two characters. Tagore used a vivid imagery to describe the forest and its inhabitants, norms of the time, making its bold statement in love and freedom. So children, let us start with the explanation part of this poem. So my lines are of this poem. Upagupta, the disciple of Buddha, lay asleep in the dust by the city wall of Mathura. So children, in these lines, what we have learned is that Upagupta was a follower of Lord Buddha and he was sleeping on the roadside of the city wall of Mathura. Upagupta, he is a disciple of Buddha. He is an ascetic and a monk. Disciple, children, it means one who accepts and assists in spreading the doctrine of another. And Mathura, I know you all must be knowing where this city is. This city is in North India, in North Indian state of Uttar Pradesh, known for being a holy city in Hinduism and Buddhism. So, what have we learned from these two lines? That these lines introduces the main character of the poem. Upagupta, he is a disciple of Lord Buddha and he is asleep on the ground near the city wall of Mathura. And Mathura is an ancient Indian city. So now let us move towards the next line of the poem. Lamps but all doors, but all out, doors were all shut and stars were all hidden by the murky sky of August. So here children, murky means the dark and gloomy, especially due to thick mist, dirt or lack of light. It is used in the poem to describe the sky of August. And you know the sky of August, it is filled with gloomy and dark skies. So the setting is described as a dark night in August and with no lights from lamps or stars and all doors shut, suggesting a sense of solitude and quiet. So everyone is quiet. The lamps were all out, doors were all shut, That is, all the lights were switched off and the doors were closed and the stars were all hidden by the murky of the August. Means to say that the stars could not be seen as it was a very dark sky in the month of August, and the month of August is said to be a rainy season. So in these lines, children, we see the figure of speech used is enjambment, and enjambment at the lines used in these one is lamps were all out, doors were all shut, and stars were all hidden by the murky sky of August. So this is a figure of speech, and this figure of speech is used here in these particular lines. Now I move towards next line. Whose feet were those tinkling and anklets touching the breast of a sudden. So this line means amidst whose feet were those tinkling with anklets. Amidst the dark, the sound of anklets could be heard. A pair of feet approached in the dark. And what does anklet mean, children? Anklet is a piece of jewelry, a bracelet worn around the ankle. Touching the breast of a sudden means and suddenly tripped over the breast of Upagupta. So now what we see over here, that this particular lady, someone whose feet was tinkling and she has fallen upon the breast of Upagupta. He woke up startled, and the light from a woman's lamp fell on his forgiving eyes. Means at the shock of it, as she had fallen upon him, so he was shocked and he woke up. He was awake, and then the light from the lamp of a woman, it fell on his eyes. The eyes had the power to forgive all their mistakes. So Upagupta is awakened by the sound of the anklets and the touch of the women's feet. The women's lamp illuminates his face, revealing his forgiving eyes, suggesting his compassionate nature. So children, what we have seen, that here the word startle means surprise and slightly frightened, feeling or showing sudden shocks or alarm. So we have seen that he is awoke by the touch of the women's feet. Now we move towards next line. It was Vasavadatta, the dancing girl, starred with jewels, clouded with a pale blue mantle, drunk with the wine of her youth. So here what it means, that the girl who had fallen upon Upagupta, she was Vasavadatta. She was a dancer, renowned for her beauty and richness. All her body was covered with jewels. Starred with jewels means the whole of her body was covered with jewels. The line clouded with a pale blue mantle, drunk with the wine of her youth, means to say that she was wearing a pale blue loose robe. Just like the wine can intoxicate a person who takes it in excess, the lady was also overwhelmed and excessively proud of her youthful beauty. So children, what do we find over here? That the figure of speech used is metaphor. Clouded with a pale blue mantle, drunk with the wine of youth. So this is a metaphor which has been used in this sentence. So here Vasavadatta is the name of a dancing girl in the poem who later encounters illness. Mantle means a covering or a cloak usually worn over one's clothing. Austere means severe or strict in manner, attitude or appearance. So she lowered her lamp and saw the young man's face austerely beautiful. Austere means a severe or strict in manner, attitude, or appearance. So here this line means that she lowered her lamp to see whom she was hit with her foot and found a face that was young, simple, and beautiful. So in these lines, the woman is revealed to be Vasavadatta, a dancing girl adorned with jewels and wearing a pale blue mantle. The phrase, drunk with the wine of her youth, suggests her beautiful, youthful beauty and liveliness. Vasavadatta looks at Upagupta and sees that he is young and handsome, but also serious and reserved. My next line is, forgive me, young ascetic, means the woman begged for forgiveness from the hermit, from the sage, from Upagupta. Graciously come to my house, the dusty earth is not a fit bed for you. So she requested the man to come to her house, as she thought the road was not a place fit for the man to rest. The young ascetic answered, woman, go on your way, means to say that the hermit, the sage, that is the monk or Upagupta you can say, what did he say to the woman? He said that the woman begged for forgiveness from the hermit. So, forgive me, young ascetic, said the woman, as she had hit him. So, she is asking for forgiveness. Graciously come to my house, the dusty earth is not a fit bed for you, means to say that she requested the man to come to her house, as she thought the road was not a place fit for the man to rest. The young ascetic answered, woman, go on your way. So what did the hermit say? What did the monk say or Upagupta say? He told the woman not to be bothered and go where she was going. When the time is ripe, I will come to you. So he said to Vasavadatta that when the time comes, he will surely come to Vasavadatta. So here ascetic means a person who practices severe self-discipline and abstains from all forms of indulgence, typically for religious reasons. So what we have seen in these four lines, that Vasavadatta, she apologizes for startling Upagupta and invites him to her house, stating that he should not sleep on the ground. Upagupta declines her invitation, saying that he will come to her when the time is right. So when the time is right, he would go to her place. He would go to her house. So the next line is, for suddenly the black night shard and its teeth in a flash of lightning, the storm growled from the corner of the sky, and the woman trembled in fear. So here, children, the word growled means sound of thunder. So the sound of thunder could be heard from that particular place, from the place from where she was, from the sky, that the sound could be heard. So here the line, suddenly the black night showed its teeth as a flash of lightning, means to say that as it was a rainy season, suddenly the weather deteriorated and there was lightning. So this is a personification. Here the teeth, suddenly the black night showed its teeth in a flash of lightning. So here lightning is being compared with the teeth. So this is a personification. Then the line, the storm growled from the corner of the sky and the women trembled in fear. So here this line means the storm was approaching suddenly from the corner of the sky and the woman was afraid. So this is the line, this is the figure of speech over here used is your what you say symbol. Okay, so here what happened, the peaceful scene is interrupted by the storm, symbolizing the turbulent emotions between the characters. Vasavadatta is frightened by the storm, and so she gets frightened when the thunderstorm comes, when the lightning is there. And the figure of speech used over here is personification, that is, suddenly the black night showed its teeth in a flashing of lightning and the storm growled from the corner of the sky. So this is a personification. And the line, the storm growled on the corner of the sky. Over here also another figure of speech used is onomatopoeia. And this one, another you can say figure of speech used here is enchantment, that is, suddenly the black night showed its teeth in a flash of lightning. So foreshadowing means lightning. Now the next line is, a year had passed. It was evening of a day in April in spring. So now what happened? A year was not yet over. So 1 year had still not passed. Not yet passed means it was not over. And it was the evening in the month of April. And the April season, children, you all know, this is the spring season. So here what the poet is saying to us, that the poem transitions to a new scene a year later in April. The atmosphere is now filled with the beauty of spring, symbolizes renewal and growth. Flute music can be heard in the distance, that is, the branches of the wayward trees were full of blossom. So this line means to say that the branches of the wayward trees were full of blossoms, means to say that the trees beside the roadsides were full of flowers. And you know, children, during spring season, it really looks very pretty, very beautiful, that the sun is shining, that the flowers are blooming in all the nooks and corners of the city, of the country. My next line is, gay notes of a flute came floating in the warm spring air or afar. So here this line means that happy notes were played in a flute which would be heard from a far away distance. It reminded for all the beauty, love, hope and the happiness. And over here spring season is the symbolic. So the symbol used over here is symbolic. Flute came floating. This is alliteration. Used over here is alliteration. So these lines, so what we have seen, that the flute music can be heard in the distance and the flowers are blooming everywhere. My next line is, the citizen had gone to the woods for the festival of flowers. Means to say that all the citizens were enjoying the festival of flowers in the forest. All beautiful flowers from different varieties of flowers were enjoyed by the people over there. From the mid sky glazed the full moon on the shadows of the silent town. Means to say that the night when the full moon was shining brightly and all the people in the town were sleeping, the young ascetic was walking in the lonely street. So what happened? The young ascetic. Who is the young ascetic, children? He is Upagupta. So Upagupta was walking in the lonely street once again. The street was desolate. It was absolutely lonely, absolutely solitude. Nobody could be seen on the street. And the only person you could find on the way was Upagupta. So once again, he was walking on that lonely street. While overhead the love-stick koels uttered from the mango branches their sleepless plaint. Koel is an Asian bird known as the Asian koel, a member of the cuckoo order of birds. And what is plaint? Plaint is a complaint or lamentation expressing sorrow or regret. So here what happened, the koels could be heard singing their love sticks melodies tirelessly, calling their loved ones from the mango trees nearby. So the koels were cooking, they were making their own sound on this particular place, on this particular area where he was. So this means to say that the town's citizens are away at the festival of flowers, leaving the town silent and empty. So the whole town was lonely. The full moon gazes down, symbolizing illumination and the passage of time. Upagupta walks alone in the empty streets while koel bird sings above him. Their love sick songs symbolizes unfilled longing and desire. So festival of fire of flowers, this is an alliteration which has been used over here. Another figure of speech used in these lines are the free from the middle sky gaze the full moon. This is personification. Shadows of the silent town. This is also personification. So, and over here, the koels, as I have already told you children, plaint also I have told you, that is an expression of sorrow or melancholy. That is a lament. And the mango tree is a symbolism which has been used in these lines. So my next line is, Upagupta passed through the city gates and stood at the base of the rampart. So what does this mean? This means to say that Upagupta passed the city gates and stood under the defensive wall at the edge of the city. Rampart means a defensive wall of a castle or walled city having a broad top with a walkway. What woman lay at his feet in the shadow of the mango grove? So this line means that a woman was lying near his feet under the shadow of some mango trees. So what happened here, that Upagupta, the young ascetic, he was walking out of the city gates and he came across a woman who was lying at his feet near a mango grove. That is a mango tree. The lines sets up a sense of curiosity and anticipation as the reader wonders about the identity of this woman and how Upagupta will respond to her. Who was the woman who was lying over there near the mango grove, and how Upagupta is going to deal with her. So my next line is, struck with the black pestilence, her body spotted with sores of smallpox. So now pestilence means a fatal epidemic disease, especially bubonic plague. It refers to a deadly sickness that Vasavadatta was contracted. She had been hurriedly driven away from the town to avoid her poisonous contagion. Contagion means the communication of disease from one person to another by close contact. So children, this is the figure of speech which has been used in these lines. Now I will tell you the line by line explanation. Struck with the back pestilence, her body spotted with sores of smallpox, means to say that she was suffering from a fatal disease. Her body was full of smallpox swellings. She had been hurriedly driven away from the town, means to say that she was removed from the town in a hurry, in a great hurry. Why she was removed from the town? To avoid her poisonous contagion, means to say that so that the other people in the town did not have to suffer from the same communicable disease. In all that pain, she had nobody to take care of her. So the woman is revealed to be sick with smallpox, covered in sores. Has been driven out of the town to prevent the spread of the disease, that is the disease of smallpox. Pestilence, have already told you this, that was a fatal disease, especially in the like a bubonic plague. So now my next line is, the ascetic sat by her side, took her head on her knees. That is, who is the ascetic? Ascetic is Upagupta. So he sat beside her and took her head on his knees and moistened her lips with water and smeared her body with balm. So what did he do? He gave her water and put a balm all over her body so that she could get little relief from pain. Balm means that is a fragrant ointment or preparation used to heal or soothe the skin. So here what happens? Upagupta, showing compassion and kindness, sits beside the woman and tends to her needs, giving her water and applying balm to soothe her sores, because it was paining and nobody was there to take care of her. Next, my next line is, who are you, merciful one? Asked the woman. Who is the woman? Woman is Abhisara-The. So the woman asked who he was, that who has shown her mercy and care. The time at last has come to visit you, and I am. So Upagupta, he replied that finally the time had come to visit the woman, and so he has come to Abhisara-The. Here Abhisara-The replied the young ascetic. So what did Abhisara-The say? He said that I have come to Abhisara-The. The young hermit knew who the woman was, and has come to help her in her distress when nobody else was around her. So the woman, recognizing Upagupta's kindness, asks for his identity. Upagupta reveals that he has come to visit her as he had promised. You must be remembering, children, he had said that when the time will come. So now the time had come, and so he has come over here when Abhisara-The was all alone, and he had come here to help her. The repetition of the line over here in this particular poem is in line number 14, that is, the young ascetic has been repeated 3 times in the poem, in line number 14, in line number 24, and line number 34. So children, this particular poem is a very renowned poem, and the poem explores so many things like love, longing, nature, spirituality, and the concept of time. With this Abhisara-The Tryst, it presents a rich tapestry of emotions, ideas, and imagery that resonates with readers across different cultures and generations. So children, this was all about the poem, and a beautiful poem, that how it reflects the events what had happened in this particular poem. So this poem is a poem for which gives us the theme of compassion, humility, the true nature of beauty and wealth. The poem narrates the story of Upagupta, a young ascetic disciple who initially encounters the beautiful and wealthy dancing girl Vasavadatta on a dark night, and when she invited him to come and stay in the house, he had declined. And then he did come to meet her. At the time she was all alone, and when there was no one to help her out. So children, with these words, I end my poem. Hope this lesson will be helpful for you in your exam. Please share, like, and subscribe my channel. And don't forget to click the bell icon for my latest notification. Hope this lesson will be beneficial for you in your exams. Thank you.